Celebrating 49 years on the air, award-winning Farmweek is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.
Today on this Christmas edition of Farm Week, sometimes when they don't have anything else, farmers turn to their faith. In southern gardening, the holidays may be chilly, but they can still be colorful. Plus, America is still the breadbasket of the world, but ag labor's tight. And back on our special report, praying over the farmers' fields, making all the difference in the world. Farm Week starts right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zach Ashmore.
And I'm Mike Russell. So good to have you with us again here on Farm Week. Merry Christmas. On this special day, a brand new episode of our On the Farm series that we pray you'll find hopeful. Today's episode is entitled A Faith-Based Industry, and it takes us to the Mississippi Delta, where in the darkness and struggle of turmoil on many of the farms there, one pastor has used faith to shine a small ray of light to let farmers know they're not alone.
So day one, first day on the job, I had, a family. I'll never forget. Family said, "Hey, will you be in your office this week?" "Sure, I'll be in my office this week." Come on by, let's visit." And so they came by and they were going, okay, so last year was tough. This year is even tougher for the farmers. This mom and dad, who had 2 children and have a couple of grandchildren, are saying to me, we are gonna have to file bankruptcy. And all of our family has been farming these fields, this land, for nearly 100 years, and we're going to file bankruptcy, and it seems like it's going to end with us. And I go, okay, well, this is an outlier. And unfortunately, it became the norm. Let's pray. Let's pray. God, we're so grateful for the day that you've given us, and we're so thankful that we have an opportunity to just praise you today. And I pray, God. I grew up in North Mississippi. I'm a Mississippi boy, but I'm definitely not from the Delta. So this is my first foray into the Delta. I really never even considered farming, never really thought about farming, and I'm just being honest about that. You just assume that your food's going to be there, the clothing is going to be there. You assume, somebody's doing it, but as long as I don't have a lack of, I don't really even think about it. In Clarksdale, Mississippi, we have no backup industry. There's no furniture industry here. There's no car industry here. There's nothing. It's agriculture. We make it or we fail on our agriculture community. If I'm going to be spiritually helping those in a farming and agriculture community, then I've got to learn. And so I've set about connecting with farmers. Out of those conversations, I began to become aware of how I and the church as a whole can better support this community. We had plans in place to have what we called Fields of Faith. And we just started advertising as a church family, hey, we want to bring our farmers together. And we want you to know that we see you. Had no idea at all how many people would show up. Had nearly 200 people show up. And we were going, okay, this has struck a nerve in this community.
I've been very blessed. My grandfather, my father, they were all, good farmers, good stewards, and been very profitable. And so I don't want to be the one that something happens. Everything just keeps going up. We're yielding is about as good as you can yield, great yields, blessed with good land. It's just to the point where it's like I told somebody, we can't out yield these input costs anymore. It's just, and it's a real unclear picture, looking ahead. It's just a little scary. I've had bad years before, but the next year you have a good year and you're okay. But now if you stump your toe, you're about done. It would be a disaster. The only thing I can control is to do the best job I can, to grow the best crop I can, and do it as efficiently as I can. And you just got to have faith, and it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
So Pastor Franklin has an idea for something he hopes will help the farmers. We'll find out what that idea is and how it impacts the farmers of Clarksdale a little later in the show.
On the lighter side, even in the chill of winter, a colorful landscape is possible. This week, Eddie Smith showcases a couple of flower varieties that just might have you smiling on those cold, gloomy days.
Just because the temperatures are cooling off doesn't mean our gardens have to look dull. Today on Southern Gardening, we're visiting Vesley's Nursery, where winter color is in full bloom.
One of my go-to plants for bright, cheerful color all winter long is the pansy. They come in just about every color imaginable, from sunny yellows and deep purples to soft pastels, and they're tough enough to handle our southern winters. Give them plenty of sun and well-drained soil, and they'll keep blooming right through the chilly months. If you're looking for some height and structure, snapdragons are a perfect choice. They add a nice vertical accent to garden beds or containers, and their colorful spikes attract butterflies even in cooler weather. Plant a mix of tall and dwarf varieties for layers of color. Don't forget about dianthus, sometimes called pinks. These compact plants have beautiful fringed blooms in shades of red, pink, and white, and they're lightly fragrant too. Dianthus thrives in cool weather, making them ideal companions to pansies and snapdragons.
All of these plants prove that winter in the South can be just as beautiful as spring. I'm Eddie Smith, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Southern Gardening.
We'll take a break right here, but don't go away. Coming up shortly, the conclusion of our Christmas feature of faith-based industry. Farming in the Mississippi Delta or anywhere else in the state, or the country for that matter, can be a tough way to make a living. Between the weather, market volatility, or just the hard work, sometimes all you have left is your faith. And that's where Pastor Jason Franklin comes in. That's coming up on Farmweek. Don't go away.
I believe in people and their hopes, their aspirations, and their faith. I believe in my own work and in the opportunity I have to make my life useful to humanity. I believe that education is a lifelong process, and the greatest university is the home. That my success as a teacher is proportional to those qualities of mind and spirit that give me welcome entrance to the homes of the families that I serve. Because I believe these things, I am an extension professional.
I believe in people and their hopes, their aspirations and their faith. I believe that education, of which extension work is an essential part, is basic in stimulating individual initiative, self-determination, and leadership. I believe that these are the keys to democracy, and that people, when given facts they understand, will act not only in their self-interest, but also in the interest of society. I believe in intellectual freedom to search for and present the truth without bias and with courteous tolerance towards the views of others. Because I believe these things, I am an extension professional.
It's common knowledge that there's a labor shortage in the ag world and that migrant workers are a big part of the labor force that does exist. Many of them are in the H-2A program. South Texas producers are among those who must navigate harvest with fewer people available when they need them the most. John Torpy has more in this report.
Sun-drenched fields along the banks of the Rio Grande River provide the landscape South Texas farmers need to grow citrus and green leafy vegetables for consumers across the country. But a steady, reliable labor source that is paramount to bringing South Texas commodities to market is in short supply, and many growers are worried their crops and their profits will be left to wither in the field.
We can grow anything we want in South Texas, right? We're only one of 3 places in all of the United States that can grow fruits and vegetables in the dead of winter, right?
Galeazzi is the president and CEO of the Texas International Produce Association, an advocacy organization for foreign and domestic produce operations in Texas. Galeazzi believes farmers struggling to find crews to work in the fields of South Texas is directly related to harvesting the specialty crops particular to this part of the country.
In Texas, we grow 60 different fresh fruit vegetable crops. Only 6 of them can be mechanically harvested. So that means 54 other crops require a hand harvest. Now, we have largely depended on Mexico to provide us with the workers for the last century.
The H-2A Temporary Agricultural Program, commonly known as the H-2A Visa Program, provides farmers the ability to bring seasonal agricultural workers from other countries into the U.S. legally for up to 1 year to plant, perform field work, and harvest crops.
America's always been known as the breadbasket of the world.
Texas Department of Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller notes there is an abundance of H-2A guest worker slots available. But it's the harsh financial penalties for hiring illegal workers which has decreased the number of undocumented individuals entering the United States.
We have a guest worker program, a legal migrant worker program, which is what we should have. We had about 78,000 slots, okay? So we could get 78,000 workers up here to harvest our crops on a temporary basis. Since then, now we have almost 400,000 slots. So we've got 400,000 legal migrant workers up here. So that's 300,000 less illegals that we need.
Overseen by the U.S. Department of Labor, the program helps producers meet their operational needs at critical times during the growing season. However, some growers have discovered navigating the ins and outs of the program can be time-consuming and expensive. The agencies who arrange for some work crews also pay thousands of dollars per guest worker between application fees and day-to-day expenses. Some farmers see the option of hiring illegal immigrants as a way to save on costs and get the work completed on their farms. According to data from the USDA and the U.S. Department of Labor, between 2020 and 2022, 42% of farm laborers in the United States were undocumented.
Here in Texas, the equivalent for using that program is somewhere between paying this person $20 to $22 an hour. But if you don't have enough of those folks, and that cost continues to increase because of the cost of regulatory compliance, what are the farmers going to do?
Galeazzi says farmers in South Texas have limited options when they are facing tough production decisions. Choices on what crop to plant can depend on what kind of labor the farmer can afford.
I can grow watermelons and I can grow onions at the same time, and both would help me become profitable. If I don't have enough workers, I have to pick one or the other. And the problem with that is it goes back to that crop mix scenario, right? What if too many people grow watermelons or too many people grow onions and you gambled on the wrong crop? Now you're not making a profit that year.
At the Far Reynosa International Bridge, over 50,000 trucks a month bring products of all kinds from Mexico into the U.S. 20,000 of those trucks only carry fresh produce, making this crossing the #1 port of entry for produce from Mexico.
The majority of what's at the grocery stores right now is imports, because the United States sadly does not produce enough to sustain itself. That's a fact. I feel that's a reality that as an industry we need to do a better job of educating the consumer and letting them know, hey, you know, we do rely on imports. So
Tony Martinez is vice chairman of the Far Reynosa International Bridge Board and a managing member of Primo Trading Services, a fresh produce brokerage. Martinez farms in both the U.S. and Mexico and acknowledges having farms on both sides of the border has provided a way for him to navigate labor issues that impact the region.
We're able to shift it to Mexico, and we can plant it cheaper over there. And the labor is although it is difficult in Mexico as well, but it's not as difficult as in the United States.
To help fill the gap in the ongoing labor shortage, South Texas producers, farm advocacy groups, and agricultural officials are looking to Congress and the next Farm Bill to help change the farm labor landscape.
The Farm Bill is the single biggest investment that the country makes to keep agriculture modern. What we're asking for is the government invest in building the tools that farmers can then buy to make efficient operations.
First time in my lifetime, we have an agriculture trade deficit, and it's going to grow this year from $32 billion to over $45 billion ag trade deficit. That means we're going to buy $45 billion more food than we export. Now, we can't sustain ourselves. If we're dependent on some foreign power to feed and clothe us, that's when we're in jeopardy of losing all of our freedom. So that has to be turned around. That's going to have to be a focus, and that's not going to be easy to win those customers back.
Now back to our special report of faith-based industry. In the Mississippi Delta, Pastor Jason Franklin has an idea for something he hopes will connect to the farmers of Clarksdale. We pick up with his admission that churches can sometimes be far more about talk and less about action.
The church has notoriously done a pretty poor job of supporting people in crisis. We people of faith are really good about saying, well, you're in my thoughts and my prayers. A thought and a prayer is good, but boots on the ground is even better. How can we take visible action to show these people who mean so much to our community of faith, our community at large? How can we show them? One day I'm driving into my driveway, and next door to me is a family, and out in front of their front yard it says, proud supporter of St. Elizabeth School. And I went, hey, why can't we get signs made up? And so I had 50 made, and the next Sunday I told the church, I said, hey, put it in a visible place. I want to make sure that farmer, when he shows up to his field to plant, that he sees that sign out there. Or if he's already planted, he sees that this field's been prayed for. And so those 50 were gone that morning. Well, I came back the next week and I said, hey, I got 75 more signs gone. So I ordered 50 more. I have had more people text me, call me, so grateful to show up to my farm this morning and see this sign. What a blessing it was to know that these people have intentionally come out to my field and put a sign here.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, it's, you know, it allows you to, hey, you're not alone. You got other people here that know what's going on, know the problems that you're dealing with. You know, there's been many times I've beat myself up, like, what am I doing wrong? You know, am I doing something wrong? I'm not yielding enough, or am I, you know, finance-wise, am I not looking at my finances close enough? We probably do keep some of that in.
I'm just doing what I can as a minister to support groups of people that I know that are in crisis. That's what we do. And I tell you about farmers, because they are isolated, they don't really know how to how to communicate these struggles, because we're taught in the South, when you pull your bootstraps up, man, and you just push through. And so what I think has happened, these old hard-crusted, bootstrapped farmers come and they're just chattering. And whether they know it or not, what they're doing is they're supporting each other. From the mental perspective, maybe having those conversations is more beneficial than they even really realize.
Oh, if I didn't have my faith and have faith in God, there's no way you could make it farming, because you would have no hope. You know, you've been working your whole life, like me, for 32 years. I don't want to lose everything I've worked myself over the last 32 years in a matter of a couple of years. And that can happen, and it's happening right now. And it's scary because, you know, there's people that have been just like me, third and fourth generation. I mean, my son's farming with me now. He's fourth generation. Well, I don't want to pass this down to him like the way it is now. You know, I don't want to quit farming because I don't want to put that stress on him.
So I had a young farmer sitting out on the front porch of his house, looking out over his farm. He said, I need a home run in 2025. If I hit a home run, if I get my crops planted, if the rain, sun, wind all work out for me, my yield was as good this year as it was last year, on paper right now, I will lose $400,000. A farmer's life is a perfect parallel for anyone's faith journey. A farmer cannot control the rain. A farmer cannot control the wind. It's all left up to faith.
Lord, you know, just help me get through another day, you know. And the next day, hopefully it'll be better.
Very important. If you or someone you know is in emotional crisis, call or text 988 anytime for confidential free crisis support. We realize the message of this story, the struggle of Mississippi farmers and Jason Franklin's church's prayers for them, is one, as Jason said in his interview, that may have struck a nerve, especially this time of year.
If you'd like to share your thoughts or send messages of support and hope for farmers in Clarksdale or anywhere else for that matter, we'd like to invite you to send an email to farmweekusa@gmail.com. We'll gather those thoughts and share them on the air in a future show.
Our farmers and ranchers are special to all of us, no question, and deserve our support and our thanks. Send us your thoughts and we'll share them with those who mean so much to all of us in so many ways. FarmweekUSA@gmail.com. Well, next week, say cheese. No one's about to take your picture. We head to Iowa for a dairy success story all about the art of making cheese.
They used to be in the milk business. Now they're known worldwide for their specialty cheese, which they make from Amish and Mennonite milk just down the road.
An old world partnership, the cheesiest story you can imagine. You better believe it. That's next time on Farm Week.
Remember, if you missed a story, look for past episodes of Farm Week on our website at farmweek.tv.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. And before we go, let us just take a moment to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up. Hard to believe it's almost 2026. Father Time hard at work.
It's our pleasure to serve you here on Farm Week. Even as we look forward to the new year, we hope this holiday is as special for you as it is for us.
As we spend time with our families, we hope you'll be able to do the same with your loved ones, or perhaps celebrate the memory of those no longer with you.
In the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.